starting, I just wanted to do a check in the room. Can you please just type in your name? Where are you joining from? And are you currently a student or a founder or a working professional? Quickly. Full button. Okay, Thierry is joining from Bangalore. We have founders joining. We have someone from Assam. We have someone from Bihar. Oh, someone from the Launchpad programs as well. Great. It's good to see people joining from all over the country. Great to see this crowd. Okay, so I'll just basically mention what the agenda for today's session is. For starting 15 minutes, I just wanted to quickly take you through what we do at NSRCEL, and I will talk about the Campus Founders program as well, under which we are organizing this webinar and this session. And then after that, we'll take some questions and then we'll move on to the main agenda for today, which is the webinar by Mr. Ajay Rungta. So allow me to talk about NSRCEL. How many of you, can you mention in the chat box, already know about NSRCEL and the incubation? What do we do at NSRCEL? Just quickly give me an idea. Can you type in the chat box? Okay, I got one answer from Sayed that he's aware. Anyone else? Okay, great. Great. Good to know that people are already aware about NSRCEL. So just quickly take you through what we do at NSRCEL. So NSRCEL is the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center of IIM Bangalore. It has been running over since last 2 decades, and we are building the startup ecosystem through NSRCEL. The mission of NSRCEL is to catalyze entrepreneurship ecosystem by bringing together entrepreneurs, academia, and industry. Our major aim is to foster fundamental research in entrepreneurship. And what we have done so far, this is the NSRCEL impact. Till now, we have incubated around 238,000 plus entrepreneurs. We have also engaged over more than 2,900 startups through our various incubation programs. There were 720 startups who were part of our three-month Launchpad program, where they get to learn more about the business model canvas and develop strategy to get initial tractions. And through all of our programs, we have been able to create more than 35,000 jobs by entrepreneurs after they participated in various NSRCEL programs. And how we do this at NSRCEL? So there are multiple programs at NSRCEL, multiple incubation programs at NSRCEL. We have two sector-agnostic programs. Launchpad and Velocity. Launchpad is a program, is a 3-month long incubation program for idea stage ventures, and Velocity is post-revenue growth stage incubation programs for ventures who have already started earning revenues and in growth stage as well. Apart from these two major programs, we also have a program based on the sector and the stage that the ventures are operating in. We have a sector-specific program in mobility space, which is supported by Maruti. We have a program in sustainability space, which is supported by Elstrom, and many other programs as well. We have programs where we think we should focus on very underdeveloped areas and regions such as women entrepreneurship and student entrepreneurship. We have two major programs in women entrepreneurship space. One is for early stage startups called Women Startup Program, and one is for scale-up stage startups called Goldman Sachs 10,000K Women Program. And we have a specialized program for rural entrepreneurs of Karnataka as well, called Rural Innovations, called Swavlambhani Program. We have a thematic programs as well. So one based on social impact ventures, which we call it Impact Orbit. The one program that we are going to talk about, under which this webinar that we are hosting, is the Campus Student Entrepreneurship track, which we call it Campus Founders. But before talking about the Campus Founders program, I just want to know, can people quickly identify the photos and the logos that they're seeing right now? Which logo have you already seen, or which people have you already seen till now? Quickly on the chat, if you can mention. Someone wrote Mitti, all of them, MasterChef. Okay. Mitti, Mila, Paradise, My Captain, Go Desi. Okay, a lot of fun. Okay, someone has also heard about Amagi. Okay, good. Good to know that you've already heard about this ventures. I'll quickly take you through what these ventures do. So Amagi is a cloud-based platform which, so whenever you see any Netflix movies or series, or whenever you see matches on Star Sports, these are broadcasted through Amagi's cloud platform. Bangalore's Mitti Cafe is one of the first inclusive cafe coming out of India. If you have been to Bangalore airport, you must have seen their outlet there. They are the first one whose cafe outlet is right now in Supreme Court of India as well as Rashtrapati Bhavan. Good Gum, Paradise, and Budesi are the D2C product. The one thing common among all of these are all these ventures, all these founders have been incubated at NSRCEL throughout the years in various of our programs. My captain, the founder Jishan, was a student entrepreneur when he joined NSRCEL incubation program. Aditi, who featured in the first episode of Shark Tank, was part of our WSP Women Startup Program, and similar to other ventures as well. Now, I'll quickly talk about the Campus Founders Program. This webinar is hosted to talk about the Campus Founders Program. We'll quickly take 5 to 10 minutes to talk about the program, what we do at Campus Founders, and how we are supporting student entrepreneurs through this program. The program is also supported by GPS Renewables, which is our funding partner, which allows us to give grants to the ventures who are doing really well in their field. So what do we do at Campus Founders? Campus Founders is a 4-month-long program. The idea is to address the pain points of student entrepreneurs through multiple workshops and sessions. What we do is we do not only focus on the venture side of it, the idea side of it, but our focus is also to build an entrepreneurial mindset. So through our workshops and sessions, we focus first on the venture side of it, to build a customer discovery, to talk about your problem solution fit, to develop your business model and go to market strategy, as well as parallelly develop you as an entrepreneur. So even if one of your idea fails, you have that entrepreneurial mindset and zeal in you to continue building and going on that entrepreneurial path. We focus on developing entrepreneurial mindset, how you can build a team, how you can manage time and resources, personal finance, and how you can navigate difficult decisions. These are the 4 program components, which are the major program components in all of our incubation program at NSRCEL. The first part is mentoring. So we have an anchor mentoring thing where we allot a industry expert with you during the 4 months of the program. So whatever challenges that you're facing, you can ask your mentor and navigate the challenges. We have workshops and sessions which happen each week. So there will be workshops in each of the weeks, or in every week of the 4 months program, focusing on building your business fundamentals. There's a one founder buddy component. So all the student founders are paired with an alumni founders from NSRCEL, so that they can shadow the journey that the founders has already gone through, as well as NSRCEL, a huge network, and with IMB facilitators as well, and an NSRCEL alumni as well, that you can take benefit from. I just want to let you know that we'll take questions. If you have any questions, you can put it in a Q&A box. I'll answer all those questions in chat. So who is it for and who's eligible for this program? If you are an undergraduate or postgraduate across any academic discipline, you are eligible to apply for the program. Even if you are graduated, if you have graduated less than 1 year ago, you are still eligible. Applications are open to student entrepreneurs across India. The only eligibility criteria that we ask for is you should have a working prototype, have already begun the development process. So that's the only criteria that we ask for. Though we take entry from applications from people who do not have a registered entity as of now, we expect that you start your registration process before or during the program to be eligible for the grants that we give during the program. This is a structure that we follow. Most of the session workshops, your mentoring thing, founder buddy thing happens virtually. So it's a hybrid program. It's a 4 month long program, and the only expectation from our side is that the founder, the student should commit at least 8 to 10 hours per week for the incubation program. The applications are currently open. Uh, this is the three-step selection process that we follow. We are currently accepting application where the first round of shortlisting happened. The shortlisted candidate then invited to pitch online in front of a panel where they've been given 10 minutes to pitch in front of a panel comprising of NSRCEL team, alumni, and mentors. And then the top candidates from the second round will be onboarded into the Campus Founders program. This is the timeline that we are currently following. The applications are already live right now, but the deadline, which I want to focus is the deadline is 19th of October, which is just 48 hours from now, and we'll kick off this cohort in 5th of November. So this was a brief about the program. I'll tell you though I've been talking about the program, the session coming after that is open to everyone. It's not just for student founders, it's open to everyone. But before that, I have one of our alumni with us, Rahul. Rahul is the founder of AuraX. He recently completed Campus Founders program. I just want Rahul to come in and talk about his experience as well. Rahul, if you are here.
Hi Akshay.
Hi,
I
Rahul. Over to
cannot
you.
turn on my video actually. It says you can't start your video.
Okay. Wait, I'll look into it. Meanwhile, you can start.
Sure. So thank you for having me and inviting me here. And like I was a part of Campus Founders cohort 2. The next cohort, which starts from 5th November, is the cohort 3. And this is the first time that this is the second time actually, if that I have got an opportunity to like give a talk like this. So I'm like relatively newer to this. And what I would like to say is that like there's a fact that NSRCEL is the number one incubator in India by number of startups incubated. Plus, it is located in IIM Bangalore, the heart of management in the country. The best IIM. It's currently at number two in terms of the NIRF rankings, and it's the number one IIM just after ISP. So, what better place than that to get your startup incubated as a student? And I was a part of like cohort two. We came in at a very like nascent prototype stage with our product not even functioning properly. And today we have successfully completed 5 pilots. We have learned the fundamentals of marketing, go-to-market strategy, how to like build an entrepreneurial mindset, B2B marketing, and all those stuff which you get into a corporate and start and get an experience of learning after 2 to 3 years. So it's a fast track learning approach of how you can actually go into the market and build your startup. And in that way, if you like build your startup in a structured manner. So what the thing is, building a startup is not a hack. It's a structured approach with a framework. And what NSRCL does with campus founders is it give you that structured approach. Plus, it's probably one of the longest programs in NSRCL because it's for students and students have hectic schedules. So they're very accommodating for that. And uh, I'm like I'm truly positive about this program that none of you will regret this. And even if you are not selected in your preliminary pitch, the feedback that you will get if you apply that correctly, you will see wonders in your startup because every word spoken by the mentors is golden here. And that's pretty much about like what I have in mind about campus founders on top of the mind. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer that because I have gone through the rigorous journey of 4 months, attended most of the sessions, and it's like truly something which you should be looking out for.
Thank you so much, Rahul. Thank you for sharing your experience. and talking about both NSRCEL and campus for this program. We have 5 minutes with us right now. If anyone wants to ask any question about the program or wants to ask any question to Rahul, his journey has been, we can allow you to speak here or you can type it in our Q&A box. Anyone has any question, you can raise your hand. Okay, I think we have one question. Okay, so this is asking my startup is at meet and typically do I need to have an activity before applying? So I'm proposed from 2020, I also be considered. Uh, like whoever asked this question, if you're proposed from 2020, I think you will not be eligible for the campus focus program, but you will be eligible for the launchpad program, which is for ventures who are from ideation stage to their MVP stage. So you can look for a launchpad program in our website. Go into the program drop-down and you will get all the information about what is our offering, what is the program at the website, at the NSRC website. Someone has applied for cohort 3. Okay, so the results will come out in the end of this month. We're going to start in the new cohort from the starting of the month of November. How is this different from WSP? I think that's more focused on incubation
Akshay,
program.
your voice is breaking.
Okay. Is it okay now?
No, it's still breaking.
Actually, I think we can type the answer now going forward. Otherwise, it might be difficult. Questions pouring in.
Uh, am I audible, guys?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, maybe Akshay can continue from my side.
Okay, am I audible now?
Yes.
Am I audible now, guys?
Yes.
Ajay.
Yes, Akshay.
Aditya, you can definitely apply with idea stage startups and it need not be registered. However, they help you with the registration process. Like once you are incubated, they have partners which help you with your company's registration.
Okay, am I audible
Yeah,
now?
Yes,
Yes, Akshay, we can hear
perfectly.
it.
Okay. Okay, then we will move on to the main agenda for today. The session that we are going to talk about, which will be facilitated by Ajay Rungta. Just give me a minute. मेरे को ये पढ़ना कैसे तो अपने को नहीं करेंगे।
Akshay, you can unmute. Sorry, you can mute.
Just 1 minute. Sorry for the interruption, everyone. We'll start the session now. Allow me to introduce Mr. Ajay Rungta. The topic, the agenda for today's session is concept to reality and mastering the idea to MVP journey for students. Ajay is a startup ecosystem specialist. He has over 15 years of extensive experience in the tech industry. Ajay is a seasoned professional with a remarkable track record. He was a founding engineer at Practo, where he dedicated over 11 years to driving his growth and success. In his current role as a solopreneur, Ajay wears multiple hats as a startup advisor, mentor, angel investor, and super connector. He passionately collaborates with founders, offering invaluable guidance and support throughout their startup journey. Ajay's expertise extend to mentorship roles at various incubators, including NSRCEL, where he provides anchor mentoring, conducts pitch reviews, evaluates cohorts, and serves on grand juries and delivers enriching masterclasses. Thank you so much, Ajay, for accepting our invitation to facilitate this webinar. And now over to you.
Okay, thank you, Akshay. Let me switch here, and can you see the screen now?
Yes, we
Loading,
can
yeah.
see it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, everyone. Akshay and Rahul for sharing details about Campus Founders Program. And we are at almost 4 o'clock, so we have an hour to talk. From the introduction, I picked one thing, delivers enriching masterclasses. I need to see how do I do justice today with that. But let's begin here. Rule of the game, some of them are here. I think we have Q&A and chat. If you have questions, you can always put in Q&A. During the sessions, I will always ask some of the questions from people, which you can preferably type in chat and not in Q&A. It otherwise gets messed up. So we'll see how it goes. In a way, having a webinar is different than having a session where people are in front of you. So in this case, I get to see only myself and not everyone who's here, which looks like there are some around 100 people here, right? Akshay, if you can confirm.
Yes, sorry, Ajay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out the number of people who have joined in the webinar.
It's right now 97.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so starting the session. Okay, yeah, now I can see the numbers also. So primarily, I mean, it's a long heading, but primarily it is to understand how do I start from an idea and build an MVP. And so it does say it is for students, but I mean, the concepts, the fundas apply to everyone. There are some slides or content built especially for students, but I think it can be applied across the board if even if you are a student or not. Today is October 17th, which is also famously celebrated as Maharshi Valmiki Jayanti. and I'm sure a lot of schools and colleges have holidays today. Uh, I don't know whether that was the reason to choose today's date, but I'm sure people know why Percy Valmiki is important. He wrote Ramayana. I don't know, way back. There are different philosophies around when he wrote it, but that's why we know him that he wrote Ramayana. Coming to the session, intro is more or less done. Bits Pilani. I also worked at Infosys before Practo. Practo journey was 11 years. This has been covered. I also run a WhatsApp community, which is for sharing. It's more of a WhatsApp channel where I share events, cohorts, grants across various cities. Uh, I think I'm based out of Bangalore and I'm pursuing freedom. There's a code barcode to scan, join the channel. I think we'll share this at the end of the slide. I'll move on from here. Some of the disclaimers, if you have attended my session before, this is a standard slide. Uh, to build a startup, there is no one single way or strategy. It is what is more important is to uh, build as you go along and not fix on a single way. I mean, whatever I tell will not be uh, new. It is something which when I do this session, it is that the topics, the part covered is not something unique. It is available everywhere, and it is just that if you find something and you can take it along and then implement. So the idea is to learn whatever we listen into such sessions, and even if we find one takeaway, we should work towards it. It is not something that I have created today and then I'm delivering and telling it that this is that idea that will make you create a unicorn. And one point which is here, fourth point, which is uh, we keep on hearing that idea. I don't want to share my idea and it is important and someone will steal it. We have seen a lot of similar ideas and how two different founders or multiple founders have tried to execute it. And a lot of them has failed and some of them have come out. And there are very many examples out there when we look at even say look at e-commerce and when we compare Flipkart with a lot of other e-commerce platforms which could not survive. Similarly, there are other areas also that other founders or other sectors also where we find that ideas were similar, but execution is what matters. And it's not just one, one, two, 10 things which makes a startup. It is like hundreds and thousands and lakhs of things which makes a startup actually to be built and survive. So you will not find anything new here, and don't get disappointed. If you learn anything, any one thing, just take it along and then implement it is what I would say. Yeah. Uh, I think before poll, okay, let's first check. I'll come to poll, Akshay, just one sec. Uh, Before moving there, and I wish this had been a session where I could see faces, but let's come to people and understand because these are students from various places. Uh, can you take pain of typing in the chat? Which city are you from right now? I mean, listening from right now. On the chat box, it would be easy. I can start here saying Bangalore. So quickly, let's see, we have quite decent number, 94 people. So let's see at least 10, 15, 20 chat responses. Guys, chat is open. Disabled, no, it is not disabled. Noida, Bangalore, Gwalior, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, Mangalore, Pune, Bangalore. There are a lot from Bangalore, Chennai, Visakhapatnam, Gurgaon, Muzaffarpur from Bihar. Purnia is again in Bihar, right? Vikram, can I check with you again? Space. Oh, there's someone named Growth Rocket who is coming from space. And Gurgaon, Pune, Bangalore. So this is skewed more on Bangalore. Uh, there are two people from Bihar, Mysore, Hubli. So Karnataka is definitely uh, more. Gurgaon, Visakhapatnam, Chennai, few from Chennai, Mumbai, Pune, Mangalore. So it is still more of South India than North India. Gwalior and Just few more responses. So Sharan Kerna, sorry, Raja Bhanu Pratap, where is Bihar Sharan Kerwa? Can you tell a little more about which district it is from? I see Vellore, Ajmer, okay, Rajasthan is there, Chennai, Bangalore, Ahmedabad. Good, we have more people from Bangalore. Again, more people from South India. And there's someone from Kullu. And I must say, Reena, Bangalore was feeling like Shimla for last 2 days. It is sunny today, but otherwise it was weird. But coming to topic, I think little more points to know about audience. Akshay, can you run polls to see how many people are students? And okay, so there's a poll to understand how many of you are students and non-students. So there are two questions and single choices. If you can just take, yeah, okay. So we have obviously more students. We have working professionals also fighting very hard. There are full-time founders. There are less students than founders. Student and working professional are fighting together. Aspiring entrepreneur are also there. So if you're a student, you should put student, but we have 48 or 48, 49. Okay. Think we can take a minute more. Do you have any startup ideas? I don't have an idea. I have an idea is 36%. I'm working is 31. I already have a registered venture growth stage. So growth stage folks, I'm sure you can listen. I hope you get some learning from here. We have 88 participants. We have, I think we can in 10 seconds end the poll. So if someone wants to still do it, student working professional, there are full-time founders and students and aspiring entrepreneurs. And it is good more on I have an idea and I'm working on an idea. And let's end the poll. Okay, so it is clear. I don't know, can you see the results? And we have more people on full-time founder comparatively than students, but I don't know if some students have picked up other options as well. But there are people more skewed on either having an idea or already working on the idea. Okay. Okay, this helps to know who are the audience, and accordingly I can focus on certain content and otherwise. So moving on. So starting with, because we want to end with an MVP, idea to MVP, the idea is to cover what is an MVP. And anytime if you want to ask some question, you can raise your hand. I'm sure Akshay will let you in, or you can ask in Q&A or chat. Right now, it is okay for me to look at each. They are open in front of me. But at any point in time, if you want to ask a question, either you can raise your hand or just type in. Don't hesitate. Don't think it is a silly or a bad question, or I don't know how will others think. Nobody cares. So just ask the question if you have something around. Would someone want to take a shot at what is MVP? Quickly, anything, even if it is like most valuable player in some sport, anything MVP, guys? The more you interact, market, viable product, minimum viable product. Okay. And someone can prototype, perfect, minimum viable product. Anyone wants to? There are three hand raises. Akshay, can we quickly just check if someone wants to speak? Yeah, go ahead, Kalyani. I think you can unmute now, Kalyani or Growth Rocket. You have been added, so you can just unmute and speak. Actually, they should be able to unmute and speak right now.
Yes, I think they should be able to.
Kalyani, Growth Rocket, are you not? Yeah, Kalyani, over to you. Can't hear you. I think there is some. Okay. Can't hear either if you guys are trying to speak.
I'll check the settings, Ajay, once. You can.
Okay. So I'll come back then at other point. I think I'll move on. Will otherwise not be able to cover. So the full form is correct from most of the people, minimum viable product. It is actually as such, when you look at it, a very basic version of the product which you want to build, but it has enough features which is for your early users or adopters, and so that they can give some feedback while after using it. When we break down MVP, as you guys mentioned, minimum viable product. Minimum means in very simple terms. I mean, whenever we say min and max, minimum is what is the least number of features I can add to my product, which still makes it usable. Viable is obviously that it should work and can be used. And tangible product obviously is something which is tangible enough to be used or interact. It can be a physical or a digital product. There could be different specifications to MVP when we go into certain sectors. I'll cover that later. But it is primarily a a version of a product which you can still give to your prospective customer or early adopters to try and give you feedback. I mean, in terms of very simple definition, it allows you to launch quickly, learn from user feedback, and as you uh, spend time on the feedback received, you can work on improving the product. And this has been a very good strategy for last 10, 20 years in the startup ecosystem, both in US, India, and other countries, that you give some product quickly into uh, users to try and then learn from the feedback. Okay. When you should build one, so it is difficult to sometimes people say, like, if I can build an MVP, I mean, in what stage, right? It is primarily to understand that if you have an idea and want to test your hypothesis that, okay, I see this is a problem in the market, and how do I know whether it will work or not? So you as in your school or colleges, if you have given an experiment, you try it, and ultimately it is either proved or not proved. And so you want to test your hypothesis. And because it is an MVP and early stage, you don't want to, or you don't have or want to spend a lot of money. It is primarily in short period of time and without spending a lot of money, right? So what are the areas where it comes important is feasibility. So it helps you figuring out if the problem which you are trying to solve is feasible enough to be solved or not. Validation, the approach of building the product is right. Are you actually trying to build something which makes sense, or are you just building it and not sure whether there are takers for the product? Uh, there are two ways when it comes to feedback, and uh, one part I'll cover here is in terms of just talking to people and saying that, oh, I have this idea, and then uh, what do you think if I build a product? Will you use it? And talk to users, interview and figure out, talk to friends, family members. So while you're just talking without any product, it is difficult to know actually there are interests, because in some cases, especially when it is friends and family members, they can say yes to everything you are saying because not to offend you. But when you give them a product and then they try it, you can actually take the right feedback to figure out whether it is something they like or not. And accordingly, you can work on improving the product. So having an MVP helps you uh, get the right feedback. And obviously, you should build it when you have limited resource and time or number of people who can help you build it. And accordingly, over the period of time, when you have better understanding, whether it gets funded from your friends and family members or angel investors or similar people, and then put more resources to build the bigger product, right? So it is ideal in terms of validating your idea, in not just in talking, but in a real world setting, because otherwise, talking to people can mislead you to actually come to a point that whether something is real needed or not. But it also helps you to decide whether you have enough understanding of the need of the problem or a solution to it, commits full time to it or not. Because if it is not, and you spend 6 months to 1 year or longer period of time to work on idea where you don't find any takers, then it is wastage of time, right? So, and that doesn't mean you should not work on an idea, but it allows you to figure out whether there are users whom you can reach out, get the right feedback, whether they junk it or whether they like it partly and then give you the feedback that improve it or give me this feature and then I'll use it. And very happily I can say that at Practo, in the earlier days of building the first product, and I don't know if people know which was the first product Practo built. It was obviously not the doctor discovery platform which we see. It was the clinic management software. The first product, Practobit, was a clinic management software for doctors, dentists. It was built from final year of college by the founders, and then in Bangalore, JP Nagar, where I am today, for the longest period of time. And the idea was to go to the doctors, take them, show them a version of a product which we thought might be useful, listen to them, understand what they need, and then so it used to be the scenario that the sales folks, the CEO and one or two sales guys used to go to these doctors during the daytime. And obviously, more or less, they were available between say 12 to 5 p.m. kind of a timeline where people are in office, because evenings you would see more of patients coming in, and they would come back. The team would come back by 5 or 6 in the evening to office, tell us that this is what the doctor needs. Some of us, including me as founding engineer, and few of us used to build those feature sets, if possible, over the night or in 2 3 days, and then go back. Those people will go back to doctors and show, is it something you are asking, or are there more changes? So initial version of product till an extent was built through these cycle of building through uh, showing a feature, getting feedback, and then building on top of it. So it definitely helped us validate whether we were building in the right direction. Beyond a point, it becomes non-feasible to keep on going to the doctors and understand that something is needed, because it might be skewed towards one set of users, or otherwise not something which everyone needs. But for an MVP and setting the right direction with limited resource and money, you can definitely understand what is the need in the market. So quickly checking if someone has any question here. Let me look at chat also. Uh, Suhaib, yes, you can ask a question. Please just type in or raise hand. I don't know. Actually, I saw one or two hands raised in between. Yeah, Suhaib, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I just had a doubt. At what point in the development process should I start gathering user feedback for my MVP?
Okay, so I think, Suhaib, what I will do is let me run through two more slides and I'll answer you, because there are two parts to it. One
Oh,
is while first figuring out initially itself, the problem understanding, right? Figuring out the problem itself, doing user interviews, and the second part is when you build something and give it to users, is then talking to them. So I think wait for 2 3 more slides and then let's revisit this question.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. At one point we have to stop MVP. See, MVP, when you say stopping MVP, uh, it is difficult to say whether you stop an MVP. It is primarily as you keep on building on your initial product and refine it, and then slowly understand how user needs are changing, or how your product is evolving. You slowly try to see if, I mean, you evolve into actually seeing whether the solution you have built fits into the problem which you are trying to solve. So as such, there is no, I mean, to in a short way to tell you, there's no line point or a moment to say that you stop your MVP. You just evolve from MVP to say that whether you have a problem solution fit in a way, and then slowly move towards product market fit in terms of whether there are enough users who need such certain product like that. But I mean, you just evolve from MVP to problem solution fit and eventually to a product market fit. You don't stop it. So that's the answer, Rakesh. Uh, so if you're asking if the session just started 5 minutes back, any other question? Anyone has anything to ask here? You can raise hand or type in here. Looking at the time and how it all went, I'm sure today it will overshoot by 10 minutes at least. So please bear with me for some time. Okay, I don't see any more questions. So I'll move forward. So the first thing, and I think Soeb, this is where it starts, is you also need to first understand if you have an idea, you research and find out who is the target audience. If you and this can be, I mean, this is to understand if you're saying that this is a problem I'm trying to solve, who are these people who are facing these problems, right? So understanding if there are enough people having the same pain point, and again, so which helps you define who is the target audience. If you are solving, say, I mean, as simple as if you are solving, being a student, if you say that I don't know if it's difficult to let's take any example. Would anyone want to give which you face daily, or I'll pull in some student problem, though I don't get to see student problem these days. Kalyani, if you have a problem to solve, let's hear that out. And attendance is a problem, okay? Medical institute to validate if related to Sakshat, I think your question will be apt at the end of the session. How many people do we need? Bhagyashree, that is okay. So the question Bhagyashree is asking is, how many people do we need to test the MVP to achieve the PMF? Uh, there is no specific number, Bhagyashree. It depends on which sector, what kind of product you are building. If it is a B2C product, I mean, initially it could be as simple as 10, 20, 50, 100 people to validate your MVP. But if you do it in a very close setting of, say, running through your friends, running in your own college, just like that, and not moving out from one area of where you are showing it to people, because it can be a biased understanding of a problem which is being faced. But otherwise, there's no direct way to tell you if there's a specific number of people where you can say that your MVP is or is ready for PMF. I've got two problem statements: attendance and assignments. I don't know, after AI, Gen AI assignments might be easy these days, is what I hear from some people. But let's see, attendance as a problem. And if I think, and this was a problem even in office scenario where you used to flash card while entering in, and even thumb in prints. But one idea which I now remember from attendance, both can work in office or school or college scenario, is can you just walk in and uh, the attendance can be marked. Now, whether I mean, and how do you solve for it? Any ideas? How can we solve for it? If I just walk in, I know there has been some product in the market like that. Any guesses on what are the solutions, possible solutions to it? RFID tags, perfect. Anything else? People are typing in if you are wondering where I'm reading from. I'm just looking at chat and some people are happily answering my question. So using camera to identify the face, uh, face recognition. So two primary technology, which is RFID or face recognition. The problem with does NFC work? NFC would work similar to RFID. It's just that I mean, so now I'll come to so mine is food. Okay, we'll come to auto attendance if card like Amazon paymentless. Yeah, perfect. So see now as we're looking at attendance as a problem, we're trying to see first, who are the users for it, who are facing these problems. So as simple as if you go around talking to students in your college or talking to even teachers and blue collar staff, even including everyone who works in your messes or first cleaning and all of it, because everyone needs to mark their attendance, and you'll find more or less everyone has this problem. Now, uh, what is the solution? And so first part is defining the target audience. Is when you look at problem like this, you'll say that, oh, I spoke to 20 students, 5 teachers, 10 workers in this school or college, and I found that everyone said yes. I mean, 95%. Then you do is define customer personas. That now in this case, I have 3 set of users. One is students, two is teachers and school staff, and third is workers, primarily whether these are cleaners, mess workers, library workers, or I mean, in terms of anyone who is non-teaching staff. And all these three actually work in different way, right? When we look at students, primarily this is for coming to school and whether you attended the school or not, or in some form attended every class or not. For teachers or staff, it is primarily to say that whether they were present and delivered their work or not. And again, it could be looking at whether they took their all the classes which they were supposed to take or things like those. But the solution to students and teachers can be different. Looking at, say, teachers are limited, you can actually give them some device which they can carry in their wallet, like a card or something, which can when you walk just picks up a tag and mark it. For students, it's like hundreds of thousands of students. You want to buy something which is cheap and still works, and what kind of technology which you would use to solve for it. So in this case, now I'll stop at the example here. Is one is you define the target audience, and there are different personas, and you accordingly solve for it, whether something is feasible, viable, cost effective, and things like those. So you also figure out while researching to see which are different set of users. And uh, actual question to answer is, whom should I target first? Whether students, whether teachers, and also to look at who will pay immediately. So in this case, whether students or students' parents pay for it, or the school administration pays for it, or or teachers pay for from their own pocket, or the school pays for everyone. If you lose the card, then it is like a 500 to 2,000 rupees fine, things like those. But if you want to do a facial recognition, then you first want to capture everyone's face data, then put it on a server, then match it. It has privacy issues, concerns on whether it is just recording facial data or something else. A lot of things are there. How fast it is, whether if 20 students are in a line, whether it will work in a second for each one to just pass by. So each problem and the solution has its own issues. But initially, we're just trying to figure out who is the target audience and which kind of people are these, defining their personas, and I mean, find their pain points and see how you can solve it. Tools are obviously surveys, interviews, focus groups. You put certain people in a group and try to put them in a scenario, give them a scenario, and they'll talk, and you observe how they are behaving, or just observe people. I mean, people observe in malls, just looking at how people are behaving, shopping, and then come to conclusion. So there are a lot of ways to figure out this thing. The second is competitive landscape, and it is primarily to understand that if you're trying to solve a problem, are there already products in the market? Are there already companies solving it? And I'll just quickly run through it, looking at how we are faring in time today. So you try to see if the problem you're solving has already a product in the market, there are multiple competitors or not, and if that is the case, how they are solving it, if there's a gap which you can tap into, or you figure out that the market is so huge that these competitors have just figured out or captured just 5-10% of the market, or significantly less percentage of the market. and there's still room for a lot of people. So it is to see if you are trying to build something unique, or you are actually creating a better product, or you are just seeing that there's enough space there for you to also survive. Uh, so this is primarily two steps. One is to find the target audience, and second is to do competitive analysis. Uh, from here, I'll move on to how to build the MVP. The remaining some slides is primarily on MVP, because either initially you look for your idea, talk to people, figure out if they have the pain point you're trying to solve for, look for competitors, understand if there is already products in the market where you are trying to fit your product in, and then work on the MVP. So quickly, what are the steps to follow? It is uh, primarily to build something as a prototype, and so build something quickly, give it to some users, gather some feedback, improve the product, and then repeat. In a way, it's a cycle of building something, taking the feedback, and then refining it, and then the cycle goes on till you actually, after multiple iterations, are able to create a product which sees there are more takers for. So primarily to create something, give it to people, learn from them, talk to them, learn from them what they're liking, what they're not liking. It could be a case that what you were thinking could be the best solution or way to build. You might not find uh, positive response towards it, but see a different version of feedback coming in. And this is okay. Is not to dishearten yourself saying that, "Oh, no, no, I thought this is the way to solve it, but people are saying otherwise and giving me different ideas to work on it." That is where it is very important to understand that if you spend a lot of time building something without taking feedback, you might waste a lot of time on some ways to build it, which might not be the right way to solve for it. And as you talk to people, they can junk whatever you thought the best idea to solve it, but it is okay to accept and keep on iterating so that you come up with what people need. Okay. If you are able to understand this, and I'll reiterate parts of it in coming slides, but quickly jumping back to questions and seeing if there is something here. So there are some questions which are not relevant right now, where till I have reached, I'm avoiding them. But Akshay, there some hand raise. Can you look at that? No, I saw a pop-up saying hand raise, two hand raise, but guys, you can type in here as well. That's fine. Vikram, I'll take your question at the end because this is, I think, a generic question which I can take later. But any questions, guys, in taking gathering feedback or competitor analysis, or how do I determine has too few or
So
too
yeah,
many features?
how do I
Yeah.
MVP has too
Yeah, so
few
I'll come on. So
features?
Sweb, more or less you're asking everything little in advance. The next two slides is on this only. I don't have a way to tell you whether you have too few or too many features, but I'll come to certain ways how you can determine it. But and then see if you are able to get answer there. Uh, any other question, or I'll move on. Does it work the same way for service-based startups? Uh, so anonymous person, when you say service-based startups, I doubt it works the same way, because in service-based startups, it is primarily, I mean, what services you are providing, you can over the period of time iterate and figure out, but you don't build something which you are trying to sell. Primarily, the requirements come from your customer and client. And so you don't control what you are building in a way, because you don't define the requirement, your customer define it. But slowly you say, I'll give one example of, say, you started designing just logos, then you move to a banner, then you move to uh, creatives, multiple creatives, or the entire website only as design. Then you partner with a friend who can code, and then you start creating simple website. Then you partner with the person who knows databases and all, and then you start creating a small product, and then you have more people, and then you start creating a bigger product, or slowly big enough to create enterprise software. So you can evolve like that, but you don't evolve like an idea of, okay, I build this and then will this work or not, because you have a time bound commitment to someone who is giving you a project. How much money should we invest in creating an MVP is a difficult question to answer. There's no straightforward way to tell you how much money you should invest. It depends, and I think let's take this question in a while. Okay, there are two types of product: unique, something better. How to go about MVP when the product is highly, such as fashion or any D2C? Okay, so Kirtana, I'll come to a part where it was difficult to build an MVP. I have a slide there. I'll cover parts of it there, and but let's reach there, I think, is what I would say. Kalyani, you want to say something? Can you try? I think earlier also you could not speak quickly. Can you unmute and we can see? Yeah. Kalyani can't hear you. If you can type in, it is better. I'll move on. Looking at the time, it is getting, I might not be able to cover otherwise. So rule of the game, MVP, what is the rule of the game? And this is the slide which some questions might get answered. When you want to build an MVP, you need to time box your requirement, or how long you want to continue building it for in terms of MVP, whether it is a weekend, in some cases these days it is possible, a few weeks, a month or two, but you need to have a strict timeline saying that I will create my MVP in this duration. To write your requirement, it is possible, and between you, if you have a co-founder or your friends, keep on thinking, okay, let me build this, let me build this, let me build this, and we'll build this like this. And over the period of time, after 2 days, or you forgot what you actually discussed in terms of specs of how the flow would look like. So it is good to start writing what you want to build in your MVP, what is the scope of your MVP. And then comes the part, I think one question was around how few features or more features. While building, it feels like an urge to keep on, okay, no, now I can build this better like this. Let me take 2 more days to build it. The other feature feels more silly compared to some of the features which are there. So if you, while building, come up with certain ideas, think of them as new features or ideas and put them in your long bucket list that we will touch them after the MVP. Otherwise, you will never end your MVP. So, and everything you're trying to build, categorize in at least these three categories, which is must have, good to have, and fancy. Some of these fancy ideas come first to build that, oh no, my customer will like this when this circle will come from this end to here. And then, I don't know, I've seen some of those fancy features as well in some products. But this three terminologies we used to use, me and my other partner. I was the backend engineer, and someone named Gudu was a front-end engineer, early days of Practo. And he used to like these fancy features. And we started beyond a point in time, bucketing in these three that will first finish must do, then look at what are good to haves. And if time permits that we still have time to release, and then we will pick up fancy items. And so must categorize these any point in time, now, later, before MVP, after MVP. These three categories are very important to have. And lastly, don't fall in love with your MVP or your early idea or your execution, because nothing is special other than you being a founder and trying to build something or bringing a change around. But to understand, everything will change. Whatever you start from will not remain as it is. It is not that you create a form, fill a product, and it will remain as it is for years. It changes, except some of the products. I know Google homepage is still the same, the search page, the first page for last 25 years. But a lot of these things change. So don't fall in love with your MVP. So if someone wants to have an answer to few or more features, it depends on first 2 points, which is you should time box how long you want to build your MVP. In some cases, you might have to revisit because you underestimated or overestimated. But while you time box, you also scope out your requirement. Otherwise, you will continue, keep on building. Whatever new comes to mind, put it in a long list that you will visit later. Categorize everything in the 3 categories. It will help you. Okay. So does that answer, Suhaib, your question? Too few or too many features? Because there's no way to tell. It is primarily to see what you're trying to build and how soon can you release. Okay, I'll move to the next slide, how to build. There are some ways to build. I will see if I can run a little faster here. So landing pages, in some cases, you just create a landing page, show interest to people and do things manually behind or on Excel. It is not required that you have an end-to-end product which solves things automatically. One example I can give you is, I remember, I don't know, most of you would have seen OTPs in your life as is. We are a generation where OTP was a new thing at some point in time. And I know a founder who told me, Ajay, we were giving a demo and he was a central government minister for OTP and in some huge event many years back. And he was like, we asked his PA to fill a mobile number, which was a simple form, and that the person can log in with OTP. And it went to an API call. Someone looked at the database entry, what is the mobile number, hit another API call manually, which sent an OTP to the mobile number through, say, a postman or something like that. And then the OTP went. Everyone cheered that it is a good product because immediately it could work. Whether it was scalable, no. Whether it would work for everyone, no. Whether you have a paid plan to actually pay for hundreds of OTPs on daily basis, no. But was the idea successful? Yes. Can it be scaled later? Yes. So the point which I'm trying to make here is it need not be that you have a fancy tool to be built first to actually test your MVP. It can be walking around doing things manually. It can be partially automated. It can be fully automated, but it need not be a great product as such initially. You can, if you are a founder who doesn't understand tech much, use low code, no code tools. These work best for CRUD, which I'm sure you would have learned by now, which is create, read, update, and delete queries or notifications, status updates, and simple things to work around. You can code yourself if you are a techie. Use AI or GenAI as such is what I meant. I mean, a few years back, people didn't have leverage about that also. But these are some of the ways how you can build an MVP. I'm sure there was one question earlier on D2C and fashion and all. I'll come to parts of this is the answer to that. In cases, I mean, I'm not building a tech product or I'm not building a B2C software or something which can be built and as an MVP in few days or months. I belong to one of these or others, like a D2C product or a fashion product. And I mean, if I need to build a cancer drug, obviously I cannot build it in a month or two. There's no MVP which is possible like that. If I'm doing a fintech product, there are regulatory hurdles enough for me to just keep on building for a few years, possibly, or a medical device which requires me to understand, go through a lot of papers, figure out how to actually solve for it, validate it, have a, efficacy data in some cases. If it is to run through some kind of user study and then trials, and I don't know, I even don't know how long it will take. It feels more like a PhD project than a MVP, right? And I'm sure a lot of you resonate with it. Now, in this case, you obviously cannot just say that how do I build an MVP? And there is no way for me to tell you how do you build an MVP. What I can tell you is some of these people who build it, and I'll give an example as well, is they start creating some landing page or a website primarily to tell what they are building. I've seen people spoke to them, and then they take like 5 minutes just to tell what they're building because it is something which either they still are trying to figure out or the audience who is there doesn't have any, uh, domain knowledge in the same field, primarily in the same level of depth as the founder. And it is difficult someone to just understand when say, oh, I'm building this, and this. Okay, what are those five terminologies in between you just spoke? I cannot follow. So it is good to have some kind of a place where you, if someone is not able to understand, you can share that. Go to that. It has a video. It has some certain uh, layman terms to understand what we are building. To attend talks and seminars and sessions to primarily, and I'll first talk this and then how it helps is to find like-minded people, to see, join some interest groups on the similar lines, to see how other people are building in similar uh, problem areas, or find people who can eventually join you as a team because they like what you are building. Set up some newsletters or subscriptions, and how these help is it is easy to share how you are progressing. If you were at some point in time and how you have moved on another quarter. Obviously, gather some well-wishers, bring like-minded people together, and keep stakeholders and investors updated. These could be in cases where you are building for some corporate or some B2B giants or some investors for fundraise. They do want to know how you are doing it. And otherwise, I mean, you can keep on building in silo, still hope that someone will fund you, let you survive for 2 years, 3 years while you're doing it. And a classic example, and not from foreign country, from India, is Ather. I don't know how many of you were part of that journey when Ather was trying to build. They took Suite, I think, 18 months to build the product from scratch. This 18 months can be wrong. I've not done homework on that, but I I had seen or used to get these mails every or whatever updates every few weeks in the email saying that okay, this is where we were. Now we have solved design. Now we have solved, say, battery. Now we have solved the engine. Now we have solved this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and keep on having. I mean, the audience interested. By the time they launched, they had to put in wait list because of the capacity and the kind of people, number of people who wanted to buy their first product. The bike. But it was a very classic example to say that how they kept their user base interested, their stakeholders into the loop while they were building. Now, this might sound easy, but I'm sure there would be people who are saying that, oh, I have a patented product, I cannot share beyond a point. I don't know how my product, if it is a D2C product, to be tried, how do I do it? And there are ways to do it. If you have a D2C product, is it useful for college students? Try samples in college students. Or if it is useful for travelers, partner with some bus guy or train guy and then see if you can circulate in places. I mean, there are ways to solve for how to circulate your product and gather feedback, but don't limit yourself saying that, okay, I cannot build this MVP like Ajay, you were telling me. But there are ways to keep your users informed, and you should definitely try that. Okay, so this is different than if you're building a tech MVP or a software like that. But there are ways to keep people informed because that's how you will have their interest into your product or your journey to invest, to buy or partner with or collaborate with in future. I'll take a pause again. Let me see, 4:50 is the time. I'll take 5 minutes to run through whatever slides I have left. Otherwise, we will not be able to have questions. We have some comments. Okay. In case when the product services are more in terms of visiting a place, but booking can be done while Arti is asking in case when the product services are more in terms of visiting the place, but booking can be done. What's the best approach to take for MVP? Uh, see, in terms of when you say that the actual product is, say, an experience of, say, visiting a museum, as an example, as you say, visiting a place. Now, how do you run your MVP? Is one So it boils down to initially, I think I've had this question before at some point in time, is one, do you want to initially even say that are you break even or want to earn revenue? People fix there on, okay, no, if I'm taking people to say show a place and then should I be able to earn in this case itself? Is so the first thing is to find any platform where you can book it. It can be now, it can be as simple as using products like Luma meetups where meetups happen, but calling people on to certain platforms. I see, I mean, as I said, I run a WhatsApp channel. I see people doing in Bangalore, especially, say, Cubbon Park meetup, and then you people walk around together discussing a topic or showcasing certain things, or different lake walks. There is one, I think, this weekend also, which is published on the channel uh, for B2B SaaS founders or something. But you could use online platforms to do these MVPs. You don't need to pay. I mean, as simple as Luma and a lot of platforms which allow you to do it. You can do if you have a WhatsApp group, run a poll in there and or a form in there, a Google form even to say and give if you want it to be paid through some mediums. Don't need to solve for payment immediately, but I mean for something like this is comparatively easy these days than like 5 years back because finding people booking do take some token money because otherwise people even ghost you and then like even if there are 100 signups, uh, one third is generally what we assume that they will turn up, right? So someone is asking, do I need to register my business to start an MVP? No. Uh, no, for creating website to run a business for short term, you don't need to register a website, register your company. It is primarily to when you have to go beyond numbers, have GST and all of those. But again, to GST, there is a minimum criteria of some 40 lakhs or 50 lakhs as revenue, but we are far from there, obviously. So you can just start a website, start collecting money and all of those. If you're earning something, you should definitely file ATR and then pay taxes, but not necessarily to register a business. Can we launch Amazon and improve it? So this question is, if you're building a D2C brand, can we launch MVP on Amazon, Flipkart with single packaging and then improving? No, they will not allow you to even list your product there. It will be difficult. For D2C brand, you'll have to try with people in your area, in your community, in slowly with certain set of people, seeing if that is working. Potentially start your own website, host it there, and slowly as you gather traction and then some publicity, these platforms will start accepting you, but not in initial days. You cannot do MVP with Amazon and Flipkart. So I'll for now move on to certain more slides and then see how if we can just end with some questions finally. Uh, uh, so this is more learnings. I think I'll quickly run through slides, guys. I'm sure we're running short of time today. Actually, you took longer. Validating through feedback. So uh, validating in terms of, I mean, when you do an MVP, what are the areas, how it helps is obviously you're collecting feedbacks, you iterate and improve as we were mentioning. This is an important point, pivot versus persevere. Uh, Primarily, at some point in time, you'll understand that, okay, what I'm building doesn't make sense and I should move on to another idea or change certain ways how I'm building it and then fundamentally different than how what I was doing, or continue building it, take the feedback, keep on improving, and then continue to have an improvised product. So whether you pivot or you push forward to improve the product, there is no harm in either of them. It is not that you started with an idea, you move to another or to third, and don't think of how people will think about you or what they will say, or and then put labels on you. It is okay. They're anyway not trying. You're bold enough to try and see if something is working or not. Be happy and not be sad about if people are not looking at it right. It is up to you to decide whether it is something right or not. So you can pivot. There's no harm in it. Or if if it feels like no, I can keep on improvising and there's still a chance to survive and build something great, you should persevere, not pivot. Uh, Some feedbacks will allow you to obviously take actionable insights, which will help you adopt the product better and then move forward as you keep doing it. Beyond a point, you will know when to stop doing it, doing more such feedback loops, and then have your own in-house team working on how to improvise the product. But it is good to use this feedback to turn into actions. And as I was saying earlier, also don't fall in love with MVP. You should be open to change and respond to how the needs are coming. Uh, Earlier, I mentioned that if the solution you thought is the killer solution, and then if your users are junking it, take it happily and then change as it is required, because you will not be able to otherwise survive. You'll have to either pivot or shut down eventually. Some of the points which quickly to tell you where you should not waste time. Some points might feel weird here to say that, Ajay, you just said I should do, say, surveys and interviews. The focus is not to do too many of these surveys and interviews, otherwise you will be into a loop to just talk to people and figure out what they need. When you do competitor analysis, again, not end to end, like find every competitor who is out there in the world and see what are those 20 features they have, how do I fit in there. Few would work and make sense. Fundraising is something which is important, but not in very early stage, because right now you're just trying to first understand whether your idea makes sense to yourself, and there's enough grit for you to decide to do long term. And don't hire unless you have people coming in. I have seen some founders saying that, oh, I have like 10 interns, I don't know how they pay. And if you're not raising, I mean, if you're not having revenue already, you should not hire, because you don't have people to pay to, I mean, money to pay to. So your focus should be validating the idea and getting those feedback to improve the product. For all of these, to have long surveys or deep dive competitor analysis or fundraising, hiring more people, all of that, you will have time if you survive, obviously. So don't do too much of these is the point here. I wanted to take some time here on this. Actually, do we have option to open mic? I don't know.
Yes, we can take 5 more minutes.
Okay. I don't know if can we allow people to just speak, like open everyone? Is there an option?
I think we cannot open it for everyone, but I'll take
Okay. Okay, so quickly trying to what people can say, I'll cover any which way, but what do you think by solution problem fit and vice versa, which is problem solution fit? I mean, I got to know that this is a webinar and not a session where I can talk to everyone just before the session. But Rakesh, you want to go for it? Quickly. If people are raising hand, let's allow everyone, even if it is 5, 6 people, it's okay. Or can we quickly see if no, I don't see any responses here. I'll take it any which way. So what the point, I'll try to sum up first and then see if I can do it in detail. There are people who create a product, a solution, and try to fit whatever problem they are seeing coming their way into that product and sell it, which doesn't work. And there are many such people in the market. They have built something without going to the people, without understanding what the need is. They thought in their mind, oh no, this is the best product. I mean, I know how Steve Jobs used to build the best products in the market. Everyone has pivoted, everyone has iterated and fixed something. And from first version of iPhone to now, the world has changed completely. Let's not come to now, but even like fourth or fifth version of iPhone was far better than the first iPhone. Uh, so it is not creating a product first or solution and then fitting problem around into it. It is primarily to first find a problem, see what solution makes sense, and then try to fit it. And the point which this was very clearly, I mean, the slide was created is a lot of people, and I'm sure when I'm telling this, you will realize you could be one of them, is, oh, I've built this product and I'm just trying to see how these 5 problems can be solved with this one problem any which way. Because I don't have time and energy to now, it's so huge already, a number of reasons to not modify it. But can I just sell it and somehow people buy it and I'll survive? And they struggle for months and years to somehow sell it. So, okay, so someone has tried Thana said solution creating a problem, and yeah, so primarily in short term, Kirtana, you have mentioned the right thing that when you create a solution first and then try to fit a problem, you are actually creating problem for yourself. And when you look at a problem first and then uh, work on a solution for it, you actually figure out how to solve it and then sell it to people who actually who have those problems, and not other warehouse that, okay, this is my product, just buy it because it might solve for you. Uh, uh, I don't know, I have a weird example coming in because I see a comb on my table here. If you create a weird comb and they give it to someone that comb your hair, but it is not useful to comb your hair, then you'll try selling it saying that, okay, yeah, with this you can, I don't know, color it and then put it as a showpiece. You can, in your school or college, rub it to pick pieces of paper. You can use it to scratch if you feel like, but that is not the use case of the comb. The comb is used to comb your hair. And if your product doesn't, so whatever version of the comb you have built and doesn't solve the primary purpose, there's no point selling it because it doesn't make sense otherwise. So so don't create a solution first and stick to it saying that no, I'll sell this only because I've created it, and it will somehow fit in the problem. It has to be understanding the problem and creating the solution accordingly. Quickly, how many slides?
A few of the people wants to ask questions.
I'm just trying to see. I don't know, should I just take 2-3
one
minutes?
question.
Yeah.
One question, Mr. Manas here.
Manas, yeah, hi Manas.
Hi, sir. So I have one thing here. While we try to look at some problem and try to fix it, we see there are different opportunities in the market.
Okay.
So, while looking at the opportunity, we see, we can create some solution for the existing problem. For example, I am working for a uh, pollution related problem which may help in some of the climate change activity in the mobility sector. For example, in one way, EV solves some kind of pollution issues. So I wanted to create a mobility solution in the market which has some kind of opportunities. There are some solutions already exist if we talk about the problem, but it's not completely able to solve the market requirement. So, how do we define the exact problem here?
See, when you say a problem, right, and looking at a problem, there can be multiple ways to solve it. It
Right.
is not that existing product in the market only solves it, right?
True.
So the idea when you look at, as you're talking about a mobility product and solving for pollution, it is possible to look at, just look at examples first, and then you will understand that when we looked at EV, pollution problem, uh, one way to look at is when you look at Delhi and now winter is coming, all this smog and the reason is Pirali burning in
True.
Punjab and Haryana, right? Now
Right.
have the same problem as pollution, but a solution is different there.
Yes, exactly.
Either EV vehicle is a solution, fine, EV is a solution, but it can lead to other problems that how do you charge EVs, and are there again charging, electricity is still produced by say coal or waste which is used by fossil fuels. Then is hydrogen gas based products the solution? So or is it like having mass transportation as the problem so that you have less vehicles on the road, and then so gaps of solving the same problem could be many. and it is not fixated saying that, okay, these 5 products or these kind of products are already in the market to solve this problem. Can another product come into picture? Yes. I mean, over time, we have survived with these innovations only. Who has taken over how a problem was solved initially and then a better product came, or a version of old product came, but the old became extinguished because it was no longer
Yeah,
relevant. Yeah.
correct,
So
correct. Yeah,
yeah, so it depends on obviously market dynamics, what kind of product you're building, how feasible it is, whether it can be built mass production. I mean, whatever in the sense, availability, production capacity, or for that matter, whether it actually makes sense to have such product in the market or not. With time, I think even in EV, there was, I'm forgetting what was the initial way to solve for it, but I think we moved on from there. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Whether the gas based or LPG based was the solution in cars, but I think so. Some version
Yeah, so we are basically trying to solve the ecosystem problems on the EV, including the charging system, charging capacity, and availability of EV vehicles and things like that. So,
yeah, and a lot of people are trying to do that, including now having a
yes,
grid or a app to say that how many chargers are available, which areas, which is
right,
open
right,
to charge, put them interoperable charging sockets, a lot of things, right? I mean, the areas, as you will deep dive into one area, you will find more problems to solve in it itself,
right, right.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
yeah, so it is more in looking at finding the gap and then solving for it.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Sure.
Okay, Manish. Rakesh, you have a question? I think everyone give me 5 minutes. Let me cover the slides and then we can have open-ended questions so that it is easy for people who want to even go and leave the session because we are already 8 minutes past the time. Uh, Quickly, I'll cover and then we can have questions. Some of the mistakes with, and this can be just read also. Don't be overconfident that the problem exists. You'll have to dig, find out, survey, and understand from people if there's a problem. That you know what needs to be built already. This is a misconception with everyone. A lot of people saying that, oh, I know which product to build, how to solve it. Uh, Again, don't target to build the best product that thinking it will sell automatically. No, you'll have to go sell out there every day to convince people to buy it. Uh, your head or gut might be saying something, but numbers, user point of view is more important. How you are gathering feedback and figuring out, okay, what is working, what is not. And as I mentioned, don't get in love with your idea. It is bound to change. Uh, some of the examples quickly, saving time. If you know Mintra, I'm sure all of you would have used Mintra by now. It started as a personalized gift item for B2B in 2008, 8 or 9, I think. For 3-4 years, they were doing this. And then they moved to fashion lifestyle products, which we buy today. Oyo started as a aggregation of budget hotels, and then they found out that the quality is still bad, and then they moved to uh, uh, standard quality services into these hotels, and then they a full stack hotel chain across many countries, not just cities. Flipkart, on the same lines as Amazon, started as an online bookstore, and then we just had the big billion sale. Zomato started as a menu aggregator at some point in time. Uh, Today's version, you know already. Practo, as I mentioned, started as a claim management software, and a lot of people use Practo today. Ola, I remember the Ola website, which was an intercity ride platform, and from there to Ola Mobility to Ola EVs to everything we know now. I mean, I'm sure you've seen a lot of memes also in last few days on Ola. Dream 11, I don't use it, but some of you, I'm guessing, would be started as a fantasy critic product, but it's now into a full-fledged sports platform. The idea is to tell you how things change from the early ideas to where they end up. We'll just take 2 more minutes for a slide to complete. Here are some of the references which I took to create the content, including obviously ChatGPT and Gemini. This is just, I don't know if I can just put this link into chat. And if you can, I don't know, see this, please do read this document from Paul Graham. I don't know, can you see this screen now or still seeing slide. Can someone confirm?
Yes, we can.
Yeah,
Are
we
you
can see that.
website, right? Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's written by Paul Graham in 2013 and is still relevant. I will quickly drop it in the chat here. Do read this in your free time. It is a good place to read. It's a huge one, but if you go through it one by one and have your learning, it will help you not initially in MVP, but yeah, I mean some parts of it works in MVP, but otherwise in the early days of your startup, these definitely apply. And the topic itself says don't do things which do things which don't scale, because initially you cannot work on focusing on scale or think on how these successful startups are doing things, and I should also do all that. A lot of things are manual. A lot of things are done one thing at a time and reach a stage, and then you go to scale. So read this as whenever you find time. Is going to be a good read. Moving on, last slide from me, which is in all this hustle of building startups, my personal advice is to find time, obviously not to build your startup that you are anyway doing, for yourself to play some sport. I play badminton regularly and run 10K quarterly. In last 1 year, I've run 4 10Ks now, and I play badminton 4 5 days a week. Morning also today I played. Uh, Sit for meditation, not a very specific meditation or listening to some music or some apps. Simple thing of sitting, closing your eyes, and then reflecting on it. Some people they still say against it, but it's better than not doing anything. And let's make time for, let's make our hands dirty with soil, feet with wet with water, face fine with sun rays. I don't know, something happened to my slide here. And ignite our cool body with cool breeze. Because in this busy lifestyle, if you understand, as long as you are breathing, you have time. Until one day, we'll all be gone. So with this, I end the slides and session. We will have some Q&A. You can find me on LinkedIn at Ajay Rungta. TopMate is where if you want to reach out to me, talk to me. That's the URL. This QR code is for my WhatsApp channel where I publish sessions, events. You can open it with this URL also, follow.ajayRungta.com. It will take you to WhatsApp, or with scanning this code, which will take you there again. I publish online sessions, offline events, grants, cohorts, opportunities, jobs, a few of them, both for startups and climate sustainability. And it has some 1,300 followers, so yeah, decent number. If you want to join, I can drop a link on the channel also, chat also. In website, it looks something like this. So it should be opened in a mobile phone, because in here it doesn't work. Your mobile web WhatsApp also doesn't take it. But I think now we're open for questions. We looking at, I don't know how many people are still here. Session. And we can now take questions as long as you want me to be here 10, 15, 20 minutes before Akshay kicks me out. And
If anyone wants to
but-
ask question, you can raise your hand. I'll let you in. Yes, Rakesh.
we have some 60 people still, and I'm sure these will go down slowly.
Rakesh, you can speak if you want.
Yes, thank you, Akshay. Ajay, I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm building a MVP from last 1.5 year. So one thing is confusing for me and my co-founder is like we have a unique thing, like it's maybe a very interesting thing. So to launch that at right now, or like we have to wait for some time to release it to the customers. Is a good
Okay.
time that
It depends. Sorry, Rakesh, you have not told anything about what you are building for a quite long time. So unless you tell something more, I cannot tell you whether it is right time to launch it or not.
Okay, it's a job search platform. So in
Okay.
that we have a unique feature and a tool. So like if we launch, someone can copy or they can build the same thing. But right now we can't avoid anyone who is copying because we don't have money and that power to do it. So we are hesitant to think of like launching that product or the without that product?
See, first thing, Rakesh, if you build a product on now hiring, as you're mentioning, and if you say have 2 or 3 unique features which none of the hiring platforms today have, say as an example, right? Even if, I mean, whatever ways you are saying, it is, I mean, you might find the moment you launch, 5 days later, all these platforms have all these features. It is a possibility. But if you think that like that, you will always be in the mode of building and never seeing the face of the world.
Okay.
So for a hiring platform, if you ask me, if you have a platform now where jobs can be listed, people can come sign up and apply for the jobs. The job seekers and the job hiring company can reach out to these people. If you platform allows to conduct interviews or whatever set of features it has, if it is working, the first problem you'll face is to find this demand and supply in terms of finding these people who are looking for job and these companies to actually come on your platform and list these jobs. So if you have some of these people available in your network or have been showing this product to them or things like those, then it should launch. I mean, otherwise you will keep on having this fear for another 2 years. By the time the job market or how the jobs are given itself might change. Gen AI can change our lives any which way differently.
Yeah.
So I don't see a reason to stop because it is okay for someone else to copy your idea and build on top of it. They might have more money to even rule you out of the business, to be very frank, right? But otherwise, you any which way don't have option. I mean, otherwise you can just keep on building. But unless someone uses it, how do you know whether it is working? And in something like an hiring platform, it is more to see if there are people coming to apply and there are jobs available. That is a bigger problem to solve for you than to see if a competitor can copy your features.
Yes. Thank you, Ajay.
So,
Thank you for
yeah.
feedback.
Okay, Rakesh. Suman, over to you. And if there are more people, otherwise after this, I'll go to some chat to see. Yes, okay.
Suman, if
Hello.
you have any questions you want to ask, please.
Yeah, I have one question. Am I audible?
Yes, Suman.
Yeah. Sir, actually, I thought of building a health IT company in second tier cities, like you can say Visakhapatnam or like Pune or Nagpur, these areas. So, what I feel in second tier cities, retaining the senior employees is a big challenge. Like, if they are finding opportunities in big cities, then they will move on. So, can you tell me the ways to retain the senior level employees and also the funding options to further leverage the business of a health IT, if possible?
Okay, so Suman, I'll try to first answer the first question and see if I don't know if I can help you answer the second one also. But
Okay.
2 parts to your first question or 2 answers to it.
Hmm.
In a way,
Hmm.
especially if you had asked this question pre-COVID, the answer could have been different. 2 things. One
Okay.
is we are seeing some of these people going back to their hometown and building from there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That is positive.
That is very positive because I know, I mean, as I mentioned, I'm from BITS Pilani. I know 1 year junior to me. Now, obviously, I have 14, 15 years of experience. He said, Ajay, I'm now in Nagpur with my parents. My wife is also from here. Her parents are also here. I'm happy my kid is growing in the midst of the grandfathers and all of it. It's my hometown, so I am very comfortable here and don't want to go back to the hustle of a big city. There are some
Okay.
people who have moved to Goa, building from there full time. There are people who are into some
Okay.
cities in Himalayas and then want to build from there. Or I see reasons. So whenever I travel now to anywhere, whether it is Kerala, Goa, Lucknow, Jaipur, Delhi is anyway a major city. But now I find startup people there. I can see events happening there. So it is in a way, these places have evolved as an alternative because of post-COVID. It is easy to, I mean, I know not everyone wants to do things online, but it is easy to build from a tier two city and live happily and not have those, traffic problems like in Bangalore, or weather issues, which is or pollution, which is a big town problem. The
Yeah,
second
and
answer to
also
your
the
question is
labor cost. Labor
labor
cost
cost,
also.
survival cost, all of that. Though then salary also is equivalent in a way, but still it is better. Second answer to your problem is, if you want to retain some of these senior folks, give them some whatever equity or some kind of this thing to keep them more into the company so that they survive longer. Give Feel owner of the product, I mean, company itself in part, and then and be proud to work there. So there are ways to retain these people in a way longer in certain places. And a lot of companies, including if you look at services, whether it is Infosys and TCS or into product like Adobe and Microsoft, all of them gives stock options and all of these to employees, because then they are happy, even though salary is less, they are happy that they will have longer sustainable whatever money coming in.
Money coming. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So ownership or money, and then feeling proud of building certain things are there. Funding opportunities. I don't know if I can quickly just tell you something, and it would be an incomplete answer. Services is difficult to get funding from, especially if you're looking from angels and VCs, because they don't scale beyond a point. If you need working capital, then that is the right option, because otherwise VC money is difficult in services.
Difficult, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. We have still 50 people. Good to see the number. Now, if someone wants to speak, better to talk and answer, like you heard two people talking, or I can go to Q&A. If someone is coming, Akshay, you can let him in or her in. And Suhaib, yes, back to you. Went away, is it? And it's okay if you guys switch on video. At least I see faces whom I'm talking to, because for last
I
1
just
hour or so, yeah. Yeah, Suhaib.
what's one key piece of advice that you would give to someone while building their first MVP?
One key piece of advice, first MVP.
Something that would help me in the future when I'm building my own product.
Yeah, I mean, right now you are building MVP, right?
No, I'm not. I am still planning, and I'm thinking, because I'm just 15, I'm doing my diplomas and also.
No, I know some founders who have started building at 15 also. So don't worry, you can start now as well. Don't think of you building in future. You can build today. But one piece of, and I don't know, it would have been easy to show the t-shirt, but the t-shirt was this only. Time to start up is now. I don't know. It was difficult to. I wore it in the morning and realized, oh, by mistake, I picked the right t-shirt. So if you, it's a tagline from Head Start, if you know Head Start. But see, so I have one piece of advice. I don't know. I mean, looking at how I covered, there's no one specific thing, but don't think that you know what is the problem to solve and you know how to solve it. It is the user who will tell you whether what you are building is right or wrong. And so people do mistake of building the product first, and what happened? I don't know. Okay, yeah, building the product first and then not listening to people or talking to users or figuring out if the problem is actually there. So that's where the problem comes. And then if you spend time building something, you would want to some takers for it, someone to pay for it, because you've already spent time and energy on it. You had hopes that, oh no, this is the way to solve this problem, but might be wrong. So start with figuring out if there's a problem, talk to people, not like talking to like 200 people now, talk to few people, see if there's something to be solved there, some gaps with from the existing products in the market, and then try something, give it to them to understand if it works or not. And then slowly you will know, no, this is not the product they need. What I thought is not the solution. I think from these 5 people, I got these 3 ideas, which make sense for me to spend more time again, give them something back, and then see if the other 2 also like it, and then grow from there. And then you will see that some of these things are shaping up in a form that can now be, automated in some parts, can be built better, or can be, integrated with other APIs to build a better product and other things. So, yeah. So it is looking at it, solution problem fit versus problem solution fit is the answer for you.
I think Ajay, we can take one last question.
Yeah, we are at 5:26. I think 4 minutes more, Akshay.
Yeah.
And close at 5:30.
Akshay,
Let me, Akshay, and I think I need to look at some chat questions also. Before
we have
by
one
the
question
time,
in chat as well.
I'll quickly answer some chat questions. I think can do a one-liner answer to all. Can I register my venture in Bangalore and do my venture? You can register anywhere in India, any state. You need not to do it in your hometown. And in a way, you can register in multiple states also, because of, if GST comes into picture, it has to be multi-states addresses and GSTs, but it need not be your hometown. PPT we shared, right, Akshay, with the people, and I don't know about recording, but
yes,
PPT,
we'll share the PPT.
Yeah, I'll share a PDF version with you.
Sure.
This I have taken. Business MVP not required. Is the mentorship only for one selling prototypes? Akshay, this question is for you. Mentorship, when you talk about, I don't know, Neeraj, through the program, no, if you just have an idea and you get selected, you will still be given mentorship. It need not be having that you need to have some prototype. No, I don't think so. How much money? I cannot answer this. Service based. Okay, let me move here in chat. In real estate rentals, for example, homestay, how to build about. You are kind of asking how Airbnb was built and how do you build another Airbnb? In a way, is what I get since Sukumaran. In real estate rentals, for example, homestay, how to go about building MVP. If you actually read about how Airbnb was built, they had a working static page, no map location of the places. You pay directly to the owner. They would open it up just for a few days when, say, some conference is open, find some places where people can stay, pay to the owners, and then move on. You could initially, I think, just block a bed and not the entire place also, and all of those things. It is, and there are now a lot of homestays also in India other than Airbnb. So, Sukumaran, I think if you do some study, it's difficult to do a MVP per se saying, but you'll have to find some place, some people to accept that they will allow it, but then they will ask you, why not Airbnb? Why would I go with you? Or on other platforms, but it is difficult to do something like that in short term. How to approach a medical institution for testing a health tech product? Find someone who can introduce you there is the best approach. You go knocking doors saying that test my product, nobody will talk to you. I mean, that meeting itself is important and referral is the best way to do that. Slides, okay, someone, I think Himanshi, the slides will be shared. If you're still there, you can look at the material slide. You can just find how to build an MVP, first five YouTube article videos you can just go through. I've done that only. Today's PPT. I think no near. Question nearby I can see which I can answer. I've closed the chat now, and I think here also Suhaib and Akshay, if you have any question, Akshay KB, then we can just quickly look at it, listen to it, and answer. Otherwise, we're at 5:30 and we can close. No?
Ajay,
I think we're good.
Yes.
No
Thank
more
you
doubts.
so much,
Thank you,
Ajay,
sir.
for taking your
One
time.
last question. Sorry, Akshay. Vikram, yes, last question.
Okay. Yeah.
Vikram, I don't know when you say your query, I don't know now. I have to see where it is. Can you quickly Raise your hand or ask again. Cannot see it. I don't know if I missed question from earlier, which I said I can take at the end. And I cannot find your question. Vikram, you'll have to type quickly.
Vikram, you can ask directly as well. I have given you permission.
So
Yes.
I was asking that I'm working on a real-time warehouse booking platform and
Yes,
talk with
real-time
some
warehouse booking.
sort
Okay.
of people too. So as I'm moving forward with MVP,
Okay.
so there I'm like struggling with finding some solutions like what should do in first put in MVP period. Like there are
See,
lots of features.
when you say real-time warehouse booking facility, right?
Yes,
And so assuming first thing is you to have a warehouse, or you are again partnering with someone to have that
I'm
space,
partnering with warehouse owners.
right? Two, then it is like, so one, I don't know, somehow mind went to a railway station cloakroom where you can block, say, a space, give your luggage, and then collect it after 5 hours, next day or whatever. A very small version of a similar thing. But when you look at a warehouse, then uh, who are these people you are looking at targeting, or have you identified
I'm
these?
looking to
Yeah.
target e-commerce brand and D2C brands.
Okay. And but these are for D2C products or for like marketplaces like Amazon and Flipkart that they park it there in some form, or how is it?
Yes, they
Any?
can park. Like everyone needs warehouse. Yes.
Okay. Okay, fine. Then the question is, I mean, where are you stuck?
I'm planning to start from NCR only, Delhi NCR.
Yeah. So I'm saying, where are you stuck? What is the
I'm stuck
problem?
at the feature. What features should I launch at initial level?
Okay, so I mean, the bare minimum when I look at a warehouse, right, or any kind of storage is one, how much space is available, and two, how long it is available for accordingly. Because in terms of what kind of slots do you allow to book, whether it is half a day, 1 day, overnight, like look at a hotel, compare it with a hotel, right? If
Yes,
can I check in at 5 in the morning and check out at 2 in the afternoon? So are there slots like hourly slots? So if you take a parallel to a hotel industry in a similar fashion of someone trying to book a room, say I'll give examples so that you can look at scenarios. If you go to places like say Shirdi and you reach early morning at 3 o'clock by bus or train, you just want to get fresh 2 hours and get in the queue, leave your luggage somewhere and then check out, right? And then you're back because there's nothing more in 5 hours. So
yes.
scenarios like certain products which are consumed same day or picked up same day, half a day, and do you have slots like hourly basis? Can I put something and it is heavy vehicle material, and then will there be enough transportation, easy pickup, drop, things like those? Like heavy vehicle can go in and can I drop like 10 washing machines in a period of time? Will you have helpers also around it? So it is to do with what kind of capacity available, what is the duration or time slots available in that sense, and how do I pay?
Okay.
The other side of things is how secure it is. Will my stuff get stolen, or are there mouse and stuff like those that it can be rotten and bitten and useless? So certain things around those, and how easy it is to reach the place in terms of feasibility of travel and then pick up and drop or whatever, small vehicles, big vehicles, because if it is in the city premises, big vehicles are not allowed during the days. So it is little outskirts, all those are possible. So there are these 4 or 5 scenarios which people would want to understand, possible or not, how are you there? And in some cases, I don't know, payment is pre or post, that when you are taking your luggage stuff, then you pay or you pay in advance. Different features which can help you figure out how to launch.
Yes. So I got the idea, like I was already thinking about this thing which you have mentioned, and I'm really working on that part
So
to solve
list
it.
down 10, 20, 30 things, whatever coming to mind. See what is the minimum which is required for a user
Mhm.
and prioritize those. Then along with it, when you are there, then this next set of features and the next set of features. Otherwise, in each module itself, it can become very complicated,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
Vikram.
you.
And yeah, I think actually we should now.
So one
Yes.
more thing.
Yes, sir.
Could I ever reach out to you if I ever have a doubt or a problem for my future startup on LinkedIn?
You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, obviously at /Ajay Rungta. I'm typing here. You can reach out to me on
Yeah,
TopMate.
I've actually
At
sent you a
Ajay
connection
Rungta.
request like right now.
If you
I
give
just
me
sent you a
one minute.
connection request.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, today's session, so at least I have accepted yours and I'll go through the rest. I don't believe in keeping them open, so more or less all of them will get accepted today. And so either here, TopMate, and if you get selected in the cohort, if you're applying, then we can meet face to face also
Sure.
on I'm Bangalore campus.
Oh.
But yeah,
I hope we do meet in the future.
your wish will be granted, so. Okay, I think Akshay, that's all. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for
Yes.
listening to me patiently.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you
And
so much, Ajay,
yeah.
for taking this insightful session for everyone. I hope everyone has got some insight from the session. Last thing that with I want to end, if you're a student or a recent graduate, our applications are open till 19th of October for Campus Founders program. You can scan this QR code or you can go directly on our website and search Campus Founders and apply before 19th of October. So see you on the other side of the table.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye. Thank you.